Hello, students. Very good evening to all of you. I'm your biology educator, Dr. Meetu M'am, and welcome to Vedantu NEET English channel. Very fantastic and super fantabulous channel. Today, we are going to do the third chapter of Plant Physiology, one short series for biology, NEET 2026, Unit Plant Physiology. Unit Plant Physiology. So, unit plant physiology means we are dealing with functionality of plants. Functionality of plants. Okay. All the metabolic activities occurring inside the plant. We have discussed about photosynthesis. We have discussed about plant growth and development. Okay. So now respiration in plant. Respiration again means related to gaseous exchange. Okay. Am I audible? Actually, in phone live streaming will take at least 10 to 15 seconds. Okay. Hi everyone. Hello students. So from Monday or Tuesday we will going to start question practice also. On tomorrow I have make some of 20 to 25 question. Uh, Rest 20 question I'll make, and from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will start with some puller video also. Means I will give you the strategy for the last days of NEET 2026 and many more also. Okay. Let me check the voice. Okay. So let's start with the chapter respiration in plants. Respiration in plants. All living organisms need energy for carrying out daily life activities. Now, student, one more thing. Some students are asking, "Mans, why are you not taking everything in a very deep?" This is crash course type of one shot. Means I did not have so much time to deal with each and every line, but still I am covering each and every line of NCERT and try to summarize in a short manner. Because this is the end time. We are just revising. You have done with the chapters. You all have done with the chapters. So please try to understand. When we will start with long term codes, then we are going to deal, we will, give 2 to 3 hours to each and every line. But this is one short revision of chapter. Okay. But if you have doubts, you can ask me. And after, solving MCQs, then you will uh, feel that synchronization between theory and questions are taking place. Absorption, transport, movement. We know we eat food for energy. You may wonder at the several questions, but in reality, the process of breathing is very much connected to the process of release of energy from food. Okay, all the energy required life processes is obtained by oxidation. Oxidation means burning of या फिर breaking of food in the presence of oxygen. Breaking of food in the presence of oxygen. Okay. Now we must remember that in green plants too, not all cells, tissue, organ photosynthesize, only cells containing chloroplast. Like in leaf, chloroplast containing green color pigment chlorophyll, which is imparting green color to the leaf as well as trapping sunlight. Trapping sunlight. Okay. Trapping sunlight. Now, saprophytes like fungi are dependent on dead decaying matter, which we have already discussed in organism population ecosystem. So this chapter actually deals with cellular respiration. Respiration occurring inside cell. Done. And respiration means oxidation of food. In the chapter breathing and exchange of gases from the unit human physiology, we have deal with that inhalation of oxygen is occurring. Now the oxygen has reached to each and every cell or tissue of my body. Now what will oxygen will do? Already the absorbed food uh, is present in the cell. So that absorbed food, which entered from small intestine to blood and then to each and every cell, digested and absorbed food. Then digested and absorbed food. So after then oxygen has entered, oxygen has entered and this oxygen is breaking down that food to fetch energy. This is respiration, means utilization of oxygen by the cells of the body. Breakdown of food. Done. Then okay. Photosynthesis, of course, takes place within the chloroplast, where the breakdown of complex molecule to yield takes place in the cytoplasm. The breaking of C-C bonds of complex compound through oxidation, leading to release of considerable amount of energy, called respiration, which I have already told you. The compound that are oxidized during the procedure are respiratory substrate. The food is respiratory substrate, usually carbohydrates, food. Okay. Usually carbohydrates are oxidized to release energy, but protein, fats, and even organic acid can be used as a respiratory substrate. Okay. Now, releasing is a series of slow stepwise reactions. Hence, it is important to understand that the energy released by oxidation is respiration. Now, hence, ATP acts as an energy currency of the cell. Energy currency of the cell. Releasing of ATP is actually providing energy to the body to carry out other physiological activities. For carrying out other physiological activities. Done? Is it clear to everyone now? Mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. Of the cell. While ATP energy currency of the cell. Plants breathe. We have discussed in humans that breathing occurs means conduction of air. Breathing means inhalation, exhalation. Inhalation, intake of oxygen, exhalation, release of CO2. So, do plants breathe? Well, the answer is not quite so direct. Yes, plants require oxygen for respiration, to occur, and thus they give. Means plants performing both the activity photosynthesis as well as respiration. Now in photosynthesis, the substrate here CO2 producing oxygen. But when plants are respiring, same oxygen takes CO2 exhalation, exhalation. Means some pores should be present on the parts of the plant, on the leaf. Stomata is present. Stomata, which are exchanging the gases. Stomata are present. Means plants have system in place that ensure availability of oxygen. Okay. Now in plants there are no very much specialized organ, but some structures are present which are responsible for exchange of gases. Okay. There are several reasons why plants get along without respiratory organ. First, each plant takes care of its own gaseous need. There is little transport of gases. Means plants don't require very high concentration of oxygen. Only small. They know when to breathe, when not to breathe. Second, plant do not present great demands for gaseous exchange. Root, stem, and leaves respire at rates far lower than animals. Okay. Now, in stems, now we very well know that in leaf, stomata is present. Okay. Leaf stomata is present. Now, they also have openings called lenticels. Now, in stems, pores are present for gaseous exchange. This is the stem part of the plant. Lenticel. Okay. Lenticel. Pores on stem. Now, the cells in the interior are dead and provide only mechanical support. We very well know that in animal body, there is no sense of dead cell. If cells are dead, they are replaced, they are repaired, either the body is dead. But in plants, there is significance of dead cells, which actually provide mechanical support. This is also facilitated by loose packing of parenchyma cells in leaf, stem, and root, which provide an connected network of air space. Okay. See this combustion or oxidation of food. Oxidation of food. 6 CO2, 6 H2O energy. Now, we will only, fetch the important points from the paragraph. Yes, questions comes in. Okay, because this is one short series. We are just revising the important points, but we are taking actually each and every line of NCERT. Now, if this energy is to be useful to the cell, it should be size it to size other molecules. Okay, means in any kind of metabolism, whether it is occurring inside plant body, whether it is occurring animal body, plant body, metabolism involves reactions. Metabolism involves reactions, and reaction always require conversion of substrate into products. Okay. Hi Ananyam, hi 𝐞𝐻𝐸, Quat Sweat Chronicles. Okay. Don't worry if you are not a dropout student, and if you are from 11th and 12th, don't worry. Go what I'm teaching. In one go, just listen to it carefully. Write your notes. Then we will going to start with the long term course after few days. You will get benefit. Okay. Now the key is to Oxidize glucose not in one step but in different small steps. In respiration, it doesn't mean that oxygen is able to break the glucose in one step. No, even in the animals as well in the plants, whenever there is oxidation of glucose is occurring, whenever there is oxidation of glucose is occurring, respiration is takes place. We are breaking a high power energy molecule. Glucose is a high power energy molecule. We are breaking it, so it is not possible to break it in a one stroke. It will require steps. So oxidation, the step by step procedure. Done. There are sufficient reasons to believe that the first cells on this planet lived in an atmosphere that lacked oxygen. Initially, when the earth has formed, means if we discuss the evolution part, we will take the evolution chapter very soon, or we are going to take human reproduction. So, we are breaking glucose, lysis. Lysis means breakdown. Lysis means breakdown. So, when we are breaking the glucose, energy is fetching step by step process. First time breaking, some amount of energy release, then some intermediate products formed, then breaking some intermediate products formed, again breaking some intermediate products formed. So in this way, through step by step procedure, the oxidation of glucose will take place. Okay. Now this is a very important step because some amount of energy always releases, and in any kind of physiological activity, in any kind of metabolism, any metabolism, any metabolism, energy is either required or energy is either released. Okay. Now whenever we are oxidizing glucose, if adequate amount of oxygen is there, good amount of energy is produced. But if inadequate amount of oxygen is there, or we can say nil oxygen is there, or respiration is occurring in the absence of oxygen, it is known as anaerobic respiration. And if it is occurring in presence of oxygen, it is aerobic respiration. So oxygen presence, aerobic respiration. Done. Oxygen minus anaerobic respiration. The term glycolysis has originated from the Greek word glykos for sugar and lysis for splitting, breaking down. The scheme, now it is a step by step procedure. Step by step. Was given by Gustav Imbeden, Otto Meyerhoff, and J. Purnus, and is often referred to as the EMP pathway on their name by the name of scientists. Now, in anaerobic, in anaerobic organism, it is the only process in respiration. Okay. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm and is present in all living organisms. Glycolysis occur in which part of the cell? It is a cellular respiration, means it is occurring inside the cell. So which site? Cytoplasm. In this process, glucose undergo partial oxidation to form two molecules of pyruvic acid. Okay, means the glucose is breaking down. Intermediate products will form. Is first step occurs, substrate occurs, then product occur, then again some substrate occur, then product occur. Okay. Glucose is converted now. In plants, this glucose is derived from sucrose, which is the end product of photosynthesis. It's from storage carbohydrates. Sucrose is converted into glucose and fructose by the enzyme invertase. Means if it is a step by step procedure, substrate to product will occur and enzymatic involvement is too much. Why? Why enzymes should be there? Because if enzyme should not be there, this reaction will occur in years. But if enzyme is there, this reaction is occur in minutes. Okay. This phosphorylated, now glucose and fructose are phosphorylated, give rise to glucose 6 phosphate. Subsequent steps of metabolism of glucose fructose are same. Okay. In glycolysis, a chain of 10 reaction occurring under the control of different 10 reactions. Done. Okay. Now in each and every step, ATP or release here, as well as NADP plus H plus is also there. Now ATP is utilized at, now देखो ATP utilization occurring as two. First in the conversion of glucose into glucose 6 phosphate, and in the conversion of fructose 6 phosphate to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Means this 10 reactions of glycolysis. In that 10 reactions of glycolysis, some part ATP is utilizing, in some part ATP is releasing. Okay. The fructose 1,6 bisphosphate is split into dihydroxyethanol. Now, this is completely a paragraph is given. We will see the reaction. Then you will come to. Now, this is actually this what is framing here written in the paragraph. So, paragraph learning is boring. We'll see the reactions. Glucose converted into, no, was this? No, we have to deal with. Because after then you are able to understand. The fructose 1,6 bisphosphate converted into dihydro. I mean, these are simple reaction. You have to deal with it. This is when 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde converted into 1,3 bisphospho. Means here addition of phosphate group is there. There. Okay. Done. PGAL 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde converted to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Also a energy eating procedure. Okay. Another ATP synthesized in the conversion of PAP to pyruvic acid. Now, pyruvic acid is occurring whenever there is involvement of, sorry, if formation of lactic acid is there, concept of anaerobic respiration is also called as fermenting. Okay. Now, pyruvic acid is then the key product of glycolysis. What is the metabolic fate of pyruvate? This depends on cellular need. So now there are, three major ways which you can carry out. Yeah, which different cells are carry out the glycolysis procedure. These are lactic acid formation, alcoholic fermentation, and aerobic respiration. Fermentation takes place under anaerobic condition in many prokaryotes. Now, prokaryotes means bacteria. Origin of bacteria when no oxygen was there. This require oxygen supply. Fermentation. In fermentation, say by yeast, the incomplete oxidation of glucose is achieved under anaerobic condition by sets of reaction, where pyruvic acid is converted to CO2 and ethanol. The enzymes pyruvic acid decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase catalyze these reactions. Okay, done. In both lactic acid and alcohol. Now, don't see this, see the reaction. Glucose converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Addition of aldehyde group. Here NADP plus converted to NADPH, H plus addition, converted to 3-phosphoglyceric acid, phosphoenol pyruvic acid, then pyruvic acid, and then finally lactic acid. These are also the derivatives of energy. Is it clear? Sometime if pyruvic acid is broken down, it will form ethanol plus otherwise lactic acid forms. And when lactic acid forms in our skeletal muscles, it becomes fatigue. Okay. Again, aerobic respiration is a process that leads to a complete oxidation of organic substances. The presence of oxygen releases CO2, water, and a large amount of energy present in the substrate. This type of respiration is more common in higher organs. Aerobic respiration takes place within mitochondria. Very important. Final product of glycolysis, pyruvate, transported from cytoplasm to mitochondria. Means respiration is a three-step procedure. First occur in cytoplasm, and some part of respiration where we are calling the aerobic respiration is taking place inside the mitochondria. Complete oxidation of pyruvate, removing hydrogen atom, leaving molecules of CO2. Passing on of the electron removed as part of hydrogen atoms to molecular oxygen. Okay, synthesis of ATP. Now, pyruvate formed by glycolytic catabolism means breakdown of carbohydrate. After it ensures, then it enters into mitochondria, okay, your cytoplasm, your mitochondria, okay. So, pyruvate, done. Now, the reactions catalyzed by pyruvic dehydrogenase, participation of several coenzymes, including NADPS plus coenzyme A. Now, pyruvic acid plus coenzyme plus NADP, Mg plus 2 pyruvate dehydrogenase. Acetyl coenzyme A plus CO2 plus NADH plus H. During this process, two molecules of NADP, NADH are produced. Okay. From the metabolism of two molecule, the acetyl coenzyme then enters a cyclic pathway, tricarboxylic acid, more commonly called as Krebs cycle. Now TCA, tricarboxylic acid cycle. What does it mean? Tricarboxylic means the TCA cycle starts with the condensation of acetyl group with oxaloacetic acid and water to okay. The reaction is catalyzed by enzyme citrate synthetase and molecule of coenzyme is released. Citrate is then isomerized to isocitrate. Okay, this is the reaction. Don't see this paragraph, see this cycle. Pyruvic acid 3 carbon, then acetyl coenzyme 2 carbon. It enters into oxaloacetic acid, citric acid, oxaloacetic acid 4 carbon, same conversion with isomerism malic acid. NADP plus convert into NADH plus H plus. Citric acid converted into CO2, NADPH, this one alpha ketoglutaric acid, then CO2 released, GDP converted into GTP. These are all derivatives of ATP. Done. Now converted into succinic citric acid cycle. Here, see this. These are, conversions of energy. Energy conversions. Done? Just a minute. Okay. Now, ETS and oxidative phosphorylation. This is accomplished when they are oxidized through electron transport system and electron are passed on to oxygen, resulting in the formation of H2O. Electron transport system is just telling you that electrons are transferred from one step to another, and here what we are dealing with, formation of H2O. We very well know that even in the case of photosynthesis, oxygen derivation is from H2O, splitting of water occurs present in inner mitochondrial membrane. Inner means which is foldable membrane. Stay. Okay. Now ubiquinone also receives. Let's see the cycle. We have to see the cycle. It is not possible to understand from line to line of NCERT. Cycle always understands from the this paragraph. Now inner membrane space. What NCERT asks, what NEET asks, this type of question occur. That complex 1 is going to convert into complex 3 in which cycle? Yes, simple is that. Complex 2 is going to convert in through which enzyme? Succinate dehydrogenase type of question forms. Okay. Now, FES, the presence of FNM, two electron transfer. One electron, 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 ubiquinone, cytochrome, F1 ATP. Done. How many types of involvement of 2H plus? 2H plus, then 4H plus, then next question, where it is occurring? It is inner mitochondrial membrane, maybe occur in the matrix also. Okay. Now, how ATP synthesize? Now here, these particles are involved. This flow of particles will create electron transport. Done. Electron transport and ADP plus inorganic phosphate join to form ADP. ADP means adenosine diphosphate. It is adenosine triphosphate. Done. Now, F0 is an integral membrane protein complex that forms a channel through which proton cross the inner membrane. Channels should be there. Here we are not dealing with the pump. Here we are dealing with the channels. These channels allow the passage of protons and electrons either from matrix to inner membrane, from inner membrane to outer membrane. The respiratory balance sheet. What do you mean by this respiratory balance sheet? It is possible to make calculations of the net gain of ATP. Now we very well know that if glucose is oxidizing, oxidizing, and ATP is generating. So in every step, either ATP is generating, ATP is releasing, or some derivatives of ATPs are there. Okay, some derivatives of ATPs are there. Okay. Now, this is a sequential orderly pathway with one substrate forming the next and with glycolysis cycle and ETS. In overall, the oxidation of food involves three steps: glycolysis, TCA cycle, and ETS. The NADS synthesized in glycolysis is transferred into the mitochondria. none of the intermediates. One glucose is being respired. Okay. Fermentation accounts only for partial breakdown, not complete breakdown. So you are not expecting the release of adequate amount of ATP. Net gain of only two molecules of ATP, one molecule of glucose degraded to pyruvic acid, whereas many more molecules of ATP are generated under aerobic conditions. Okay. NADH oxidized to NADPS slowly in fermentation by reaction is rigorous, aerobic rest. Now, amphibolic pathway. What do you mean by this? Glucose is the favored substrate for respiration. It should be there to trigger the first and initial most action of respiration. All carbohydrates are usually first converted into glucose before they are used for respiration. Then other substrate can also be required. Fat would need to be broken down into glycerol and fatty acid first. If fatty acids were to be respired, first to be degraded to acetyl-CoEnzyme and enter the pathway. Glycerol would enter the pathway after being converted to PGAL. Okay. The protein would be degraded by proteases, individual amino acids. Now, in this, what points important? Only this. Hence, fatty acid would be broken down to acetyl coenzyme before entering the respiratory pathway when it is used to substrate. Okay. Similarly, during breakdown and synthesis of protein to respiratory intermediates forms the zinc. Means along with glucose, as the animal body can also do lipid and protein breakdown, same the plants are doing. Okay, because the respiratory pathways involved in both anabolism and catabolism, pathway is called as M. Now, fat reduced to fatty acid glycerol, carbohydrate simple sugar, glucose to glucose 6 phosphate, fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, proteins amino acids. Okay, pyruvic acid acetyl coenzyme, Krebs cycle, release of H2O and CO2. Now, what do you mean by respiratory quotient? Tell me. Now, respiratory quotient or respiratory ratio, volume of CO2 involved and volume of O2 consumed. With respiration, what actually occurring in respiration? Inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of CO2. The respiratory quotient depends upon the type of respiratory substrate during respiration. When carbohydrates are used as substrate and are completely oxidized, the RQ will be 1. 6H12 plus CO2, 6 CO2, 6 O2, 1. When fats are used in respiration, the RQ is less than 1. Okay. Proteins about 0.9. What is important to recognize is that in living organism, respiratory substrate are often more than 1. Pure protein or fats are never used as respiratory substrate. Means if you want to really deal with the respiratory substrate, respiration, CO2 and O2 should be same and at optimum amount. Okay, student, this is the end of this chapter. We have completed all the chapters of class 11th. And from Monday onwards, or either from Monday, we will going to solve the question also. Question practice we will do. Okay? Done? Till then, bye-bye. Have a nice day. Tomorrow we are going to do the human reproduction chapter of